Good morning, you all. Don't be alarmed. It's me. I'm wearing my readers because for some reason, early in the morning, I am Mr. Magoo, and this is the only way I can see the screen perfectly. But anyway, I want you guys to watch this video and then come back and I'll talk about it so we can all discuss it together.
I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
This makes so much sense. And if you look at it, let's dissect this, let's unpack this, let's put the suitcase on the bed and take out the shirts and everything so we can look at what's going on here. In the older generations, I put the black ones on. Do y'all like the black ones better? In the older generations, and even still now today, people get married because maybe they had sex and they got pregnant and they want to do the right thing for religious reasons or because of the pressure of their family once they found out. People get married because they want to have sex. So again, for religious reasons or personal reasons or whatever. This one's more so back in the old days. Families were poor, so they would marry off their child because they couldn't afford to feed them. In some countries, that probably still happens. There's no doubt in my mind. People get married for societal pressure. Their family is like, when are you going to give us a grandchild? When are you going to settle down? Maybe they're the last single person in their friend group. Maybe there's this imaginary biological clock that is ticking. The biological clock does not exist. It was made up by an old white man in a newspaper article many years ago to devalue women the older they get. People get married out of desperation because they think, well, I really don't like this particular guy. He's not that great, but nobody might ever date me again. So I need to jump on this train and be with this guy. People settle. People get married because they're having a troubled life at home and they think that getting married to this loser will be their way out of their home. A plethora of reasons that have nothing to do with actual love and making a rational decision about whether to hitch your wagon to somebody else's. Only about 35% of marriages are happy ones. And you might be thinking, well, Jules, it sounds like a small number, but it's actually a big number. Okay, let's break it down this way. If you want to buy a car and you go to a used car lot and the salesman says, hey, this is a really good car, but it's only going to work about 35% of the time, would you buy that car? You'd be an idiot if you would actually buy it unless you're buying it for parts or something like that. If you want to buy a house and you go to a realtor and the realtor says, hey, this house is only going to be functional and the appliances are only going to work about 35% of the time, would you actually buy that house? If you go to book tickets to fly somewhere and there's a disclaimer on the screen and it says, hey, there's a 35% chance that this plane will actually make it to its destination, would you buy those tickets? See, when you think about it like that, it's a definite no. But for some reason, because it's marriage, all of our caution is thrown to the wind. So to the person's point whose video I included, I think a lot of people, because of the fact that they got married for not so good reasons, they are now fighting tooth and nail to make this thing work. When in most cases, it's not working because y'all should not have gotten together in the first place. I get it. You're going to get on each other's nerves sometimes. They might snore. Or it might be a day when you just want to be left alone and they want to cuddle. Normal little annoyances that go along with being a human being and live with someone. But a lot of people are like knocked down, drag out fighting. And it's just like because you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. You're trying to mix oil and water. You built the foundation on quicksand in the first place. Or maybe you have normal problems, like maybe y'all's sex life has, ebbs and flows, ups and downs. That's a normal issue that you guys should talk through, but it shouldn't be you cheated on me. I don't think I've ever met a person who described marriage as hard, who once they actually broke it down, they had a marriage that I would even sign up for in the first place. If hard is abuse and cheating or substance abuse or putting me in dangerous situations, that means divorce. And quite honestly, a lot of people who say marriage is hard, but we stuck together and we worked it out, what that actually means is the woman gave up because that man wasn't going to change. He got too old to abuse her, or he got too old to cheat. He had to finally go sit down somewhere because y'all know these men don't be taking care of themselves. And they both just gave up and just started existing together. And then from the outside looking in, we're like, oh, they stayed together for 20, 30, 50 years. When in actuality, they're both fucking miserable. They both settled. They both should have divorced each other and moved the hell on. If you're going through one of the aforementioned hard times, abuse, cheating, lies, they're abusing a substance, anything like that, and you're trying to work it out, I just want you to be honest with yourself. Just come here for a second. Come here. I want you to ask yourself, why do I even have to be married? Okay, I'm taking these glasses off because they make my eyeballs look huge and I don't like that. Who said that y'all have to stay together? And if you say, well, God says, well, first of all, if your partner cheated on you, the Bible does say that you can exit that marriage if that's what you believe in. And if you believe in God and if you think he's your father or your mother, however you see that, I don't think your parent would want to see their child getting abused. And it's so interesting how people pick and choose what parts of the Bible or any religion to believe in based on what they want to do. All the other millions of things the Bible says, and you're choosing the part or molding parts of it to make it seem like you got to stay in this shitty ass marriage. When actuality, when you break it down, you're either afraid of the unknown and you don't want to go out into the world on your own because maybe you're afraid you're not going to make enough to provide for yourself or your children. Maybe you become accustomed to a certain lifestyle and you don't want to have to do any work on your own. Or maybe it comes down to the fact that you have this idea that because you have children, you have to give them a 2-parent household, when in actuality, I'd rather have one happy single parent than 2 miserable ass parents. Or maybe it's just because you're desperate and your whole identity is wrapped around being in a relationship with someone, or you feel like your value will go down if you are single. Like it's the worst possible thing in the world to be single. Maybe you feel like you have an image to uphold. I was telling someone the other day, because they were like, I don't believe in divorce. I believe divorce is the worst possible thing in the world. And I told my husband, till death do us part. And I really mean that. And I get it. Haha, that's so funny. But we need to stop believing that divorce is a bad thing. Divorce is great. The day I got divorced was one of the best days of my life. Sometimes things just don't work, especially if y'all got together for the wrong reasons. And that is okay. And everybody's like, God put us together and now y'all are having all these hard times. It don't look like he or she put y'all together. Y'all put y'all together and y'all are trying to put God over it. One of my mutuals said that there's an increase in women over 50 getting divorced. And I think it's because of everything I'm talking about. They realize, why am I here? And they decided to break free. If I ever get into another relationship, of course, cheating, any sign of abuse, I'm out. But other than that, if we're just having this painstakingly tearful, stressful, hard time of trying to make it work, I'm not doing that. My body and my mind won't allow me to go through with something like that. But y'all have fun though. Y'all be safe.